Healthy Lifestyle Crib presents Toxic Family. How to deal with it. Due to the worldwide decline in mental health, we are more dedicated than ever to producing more content than ever before. We appreciate you being here with us on this adventure. Worried about what to do about your toxic family? While love and support are central to the concept of family, having a toxic relative might be problematic. This is a betrayal of an epic scale, the kind that, if untreated, can plague a person for the rest of their lives. Recognizing a toxic family member is the first step towards recovery, but treatment can be challenging. Here are some things to think about while you decide what to do, though we do advise consulting an expert first. Number 1. Set boundaries for yourself. If it's so easy to set clear boundaries by saying, "Hey, I like this, and I don't like that," then why is it that this toxic person keeps pushing through them? It's possible that you haven't established firm limits because you're too afraid, too exhausted, or too blind to see the problem. One of the main issues with dealing with toxic family is that they know you so well that they routinely exploit that familiarity to hurt you. They've pinpointed all the weak points. Defining a boundary is like constructing an additional wall or lining your house with bricks instead of straw. It seals up all the cracks. You must be completely honest with yourself about the limits you set and the reasoning behind them. In other words, you should back it up. Toxic people will repeatedly test your patience, so you must establish for yourself how much you can take before you decide to cut ties. Don't be discouraged if you don't succeed the first few times. They may rush you before the cement has set fully. You'll be able to hold your own after some time has passed. In addition to keeping you safe, setting physical limits around oneself can serve as a helpful reminder that you have the right and the responsibility to safeguard yourself from harm. This means you can have confidence in your decision to ignore your body-shaming mother or block the number of your sister who constantly uses profanity and belittles your life. You're done with this. Number 2. Distance. When we say emotionally or physically, we mean just that. While physically isn't always realistically attainable, emotional distancing requires breaking off the things you've been offering. What presents, you inquire. The gift of you, the gift of knowing anything meaningful about you, including your interests, goals, secrets, or memories. You trusted them with that knowledge, and they've used it intentionally and repeatedly to harm you. They've earned your right to cut them off since they don't deserve it. It's fine to politely decline to discuss anything or answer a particular question. You can keep them at arm's length with polite conversation if you must interact with them. Since toxic people are preoccupied with themselves, it's best to keep talks and feelings on the surface, pleasant, and focused on them. You can reassure yourself that this is being done for your own safety and sanity. No matter how hard they try, you will not cave in. Little contact means only seeing each other at major events like weddings. And when even minimal physical touch is too much to handle, there is always the option of none at all. So don't worry about, what if they've changed? Whenever toxic family members catch on to what's happening, they'll redouble their efforts to shove poison down your throat, letting you know that nothing has changed. They have actually gotten even worse. The most crucial thing to keep in mind is that no matter what they're shouting at you, it's not your fault that they did this to you. If they continue to be abusive despite your best efforts to reason with them, it's time to go and let them deal with the consequences on their own. Number 3. Don't defend yourself or make an argument. If you've done this before, you know what to expect. It's been a week since you've heard from the condescending, gaslighting relative. Then, suddenly, you get a call or an email about something that seems to demand a chat. Hence, in a sympathetic move, you inquire as to the status of their well-being, only to find yourself in the middle of a tense disagreement. Warning: you may wish to respond with defensive arguments and supporting evidence. They've fallen into a trap, as Admiral Akbar has warned. Sure enough, he was in the loop. They have baited you into an argument they know they can't win, and they've made sure you're the one who gets sucked in. One of their main goals is to put you down so they can feel superior. It's important to pick one's battles carefully. Find out which conflicts require immediate action and which are just theatrics and manufactured crises. These crises are fabricated and easily avoidable, but they want the thrill of controlling you. It's fine if you choose not to be duped. You'll have more stamina for more important things, like living your own life. Number 4. Stay strong. In other words, you have to hold yourself steady and guide yourself. Knowing who you are and accepting the fact that you are not perfect but that you still know who you are despite the inevitable setbacks is essential to developing a strong, solid sense of self. We recognize that you may experience feelings of embarrassment or guilt, but only through self-awareness can you determine the appropriate response to these emotions. Can you say that you acted maliciously on purpose? There's a strong chance you didn't when it came to dealing with that toxic relative. Just being who you are has no shame or downside. You should not worry about pleasing that toxic relative. Don't bother seeing any of those "well done, son" films. The only approval you truly need is your own. Toxic people often project their own immaturity and lack of wisdom onto others, explaining away their constant stream of demeaning remarks as a reflection of their own inner turmoil. Instead, they act cowardly and cheap by shifting the blame on someone else. It is not your fault or concern if they are incompetent at what they are doing. You, being the solid person that you are aware that the occurrence of an error is irrelevant. It won't be fatal to you. Specifically, it indicates avenues for further research. Number 5. Finding support. People are more effective when they collaborate. Having and developing a safety net to fall back on is crucial. You can count on these friends and allies when things get tough with your toxic family and their attempts to recapture you. Therapy, programs, and friends outside of your own circle can all be helpful in times of need. It takes time to heal and to move on from an abusive situation. Try to be gentle and kind to yourself. You will learn a lot about yourself and the people around you on this adventure. A destruction is necessary before you can begin constructing again, but you are confident in your ability to recover. You are not worthy of being treated poorly, and neither are any of your peers. Tell me what other pieces of advice you believe would be useful. Are you going to put any of the advice that we discussed into practice? Leave a comment below to talk about it with other people. Thank you for joining us today, and we hope to see you again soon.